Hi, so I want to talk to you today about having those conversations. So you've just started out in business, you've set your prices, like you've been through your pricing, you've set your prices, you're like you've looked up your competition, so you know your pricing structure is right. And then someone asks what you charge. And listen, when you've gone from being employed and you get paid, you know what your salary is, like you've already agreed your salary, you get paid every month. You don't have to go and have a conversation with your boss, at the end of every month about like how much you're charging for that month. You just get paid. But when you're working on your own, people are going to say to you, how much do you charge? How much, and especially when you're selling services as well, like when you're selling your time, I think there's like people think it's a lot easier, isn't it? Like when you're selling a product, the price is what it is. But then when you're selling your time, it can bring up all of that stuff, you know, those feelings that you probably maybe, things you've grown up hearing, money doesn't grow on trees. And then it brings up like imposter syndrome. Am I good enough to be charging this? Like, should I even be charging? Like, it can be so uncomfortable when you're first starting out. And this is where people end up falling into a pitfall of undercharging for their time because it's so uncomfortable just to say, this is what I charge. And it is what it is. Your time is valuable. And listen, I guarantee you haven't got like a room full of people waiting to pay your bills at the end of every month. Like, your time is valuable and the price is what it is. Obviously, you whatever offers and stuff you do and discounts, and if there's people you want to work with, like that's a whole nother story. But when you're first having those conversations, it's worth, do you know what, just practice in the mirror, practice with family, practice in the mirror. And also as well, go through like practice sessions of like objections and people trying to, get you down, on your price. So because the thing is, if you feel uncomfortable about talking about what you charge, people pick up on that. So if someone says to you, how much do you charge, like for your per package, per hour, and you're like, oh, well, I charge this, but we can, we can do something. You come across as like desperate. And listen, you might be desperate for the business. If you're just starting out, you need all the money you can get. And even running a small business, times are tough at the minute. So it's really easy, isn't it, to like fall into that thing where you automatically think no one's got any money, like no one's got the money to work with you. And also as well, if you're coming from that mindset yourself that you wouldn't pay what you charge, you're going to project that out to people when you've got people that want to work with you and have got the means to pay you. So what I would suggest, if this is something you're struggling with and it just makes you, I suffered with this for years in my accountancy business. Like, I massively undercharged, ended up going way above and beyond. And as soon as, like I worked with some companies where they'd be like, well, can't you do it cheap or just knock a bit off at the end of the month? And I did it because I was so desperate for the money and so desperate just to work with people. So I know it's a real struggle if you're going through this. So what I would suggest is, do you know what? Just practice. Practice in front of a mirror and record yourself doing it as well. Like, sit down, if you've got Zoom, just record yourself on Zoom, like having those conversations, and then watch yourself back so you can see how you're coming across. Are you coming, even though you're selling your services and you're selling your time and your experience, you're helping the people that you work with. So when someone says to you, how much is it? It is what it is. It's still a product. You're still selling a product. But it's a lot easier, isn't it? You know, when you've got something physical like that, that's what the price is. But then your time, so just I would suggest record yourself having, like, you know, made up conversations until you get to a point where it becomes so natural. When someone says to you, what do you charge? It's like, this is what it is. It just is what it is. And then if you want to, you know, work with them or discount or do offers, whatever, like, that's completely up to you. But at least you're comfortable telling people this is what the price is. There's no, you're not projecting out to them like, don't buy from me because I don't believe in myself, so why should you? So I'm going to leave you there, and I'll see you soon.